Raise the Roof production.
Well, you'll never know the heartache of looking a grown man in the eye, and he asks, am I gonna make it? And you've gotta lie. Well, they call me Doc, but I ain't got no degree. When shit hits the fan, they're calling for me. From bluegrass Kentucky, with red blood on my hands, nobody calls me hero except for my friends. Yeah, they call me Doc.
Hello, brothers and sisters and American patriots, to another episode of Sick Call with Doc. I'm your host, Rod Doc Walbeck, United States Navy Corpsman veteran. On the dials in the back, as always, Brian Devil Dog Roof, United States Marine Corps combat veteran. You might be looking at this picture and saying something's not right, something's missing, and that's a true statement. If you didn't make it to our season 3 finale of Sick Call with Doc, Joe Misfit Glenn will no longer be co-hosting in the show. He has decided that he can help Sick Call with Doc in much better ways than being our co-host. So he's going to be doing videos and educational stuff and showing a more holistic approach and bringing our veterans additional remedies, additional knowledge about all plants. And like he said, I can sum it up the best way possible. He said, Rod, I don't want to be the co-host of this. He says, I want to be the wind in your sails. And so with that, Joe will be around. You're going to be seeing a lot from him. He is still with Sick Call with Doc. Him and Lori have taken the group page, Sick Call with Doc group page, on as their own. And you're going to be seeing a lot more from Joe Misfit Glenn and Misfit Farms in the group itself. And I just want to thank him and Lori from the bottom of my heart for getting us launched out. He was a tremendous help. His insight was invaluable, and he'll be missed on the show itself, for sure. But you're going to get all of his same knowledge, just in more video form, and he loves teaching. So as his brother, I support him in that. So there's that. Next point of topic. Today is 8/28. You guys will not even be seeing this until probably sometime in mid-September, maybe later September. But just if you didn't make it to the season 3 finale live, it was the night that I announced that I was going to get sober. And so we are now almost 3 full 24-hour periods into my sobriety. And I can already tell you, I am thinking clearer. I am sleeping harder. I'm getting better memory back. Like my short-term memory is already coming back, and some long-term too. Guess that's normal. Anyway, I found that the first day wasn't so bad, because I've taken a day off once in a while, once every half a year or something. So it's been like the first day wasn't so bad at all. Second day, it was in my brain, it was like psychological warfare on me, and so that day and night was pretty tough. And then I realized that I had gotten my wife Evelyn some edibles from the dispensary in Ann Arbor, Michigan. And I went, you know what, man? I wasn't sleeping the second night. I couldn't fall asleep, man. It was like, or the first night, 2:00 in the morning, man. I couldn't fall asleep because I had coffee late, which I never do. I drink beer late, not coffee late. and I like my sugar and my coffee. So, man, I was wired up. And so on the second night, couldn't fall asleep, man. So I grabbed the gummies and I took 1.5 gummies. And before I knew it, I was out. Uh, woke up the second day or third morning. This morning. No, wait, so I'm a day off, guys. Sorry, my memory's bad. The first night I ended up taking those gummies and I took 1.5 gummies and I was out like a light. So the following morning I said, you know what? You can cut these gummies into 4 little chunks. What if I were to microdose, like a quarter of one every 4 to 6 hours? Like if I start getting anxious or getting irritated, I'll just drop one of these little pieces of these little gummies and see if it works. And I am telling you what, that little 25% of that one gummy, and it has kept me on even keel. I slept last night like a baby for the first time in forever, man. And when I say like a baby, I'm not talking a drunk sleep. I'm talking real deal sleep. And I woke up this morning so like, I can't believe how hard I slept, and I, just trying to get my bones going again and stuff. And I used to say, I remember Dean Martin used to say, I feel sorry for people who don't drink because when they wake up in the morning, that's the best they're going to feel all day. And that's bullshit because once I worked it out a little bit, got my coffee in, that was some sound, solid, sober sleep. And I haven't had that in a long, long time. So there's the update. Doing good. Pisses me off. I can't drink no more, but doesn't piss me off that much that I'll go back to it. I got all my brothers and sisters behind me. I've been getting support. Like, dude, call me, call me. And so that support has been overwhelming, and I love you all for that. Thank you so much. All right, so there's all the news. So we talked about changing things up for season 4, and we're going to do that. This episode I'm excited about because this veteran was in during my time. Desert Storm combat veteran, United States Marine Corps. He's a super badass Marine. And when you hear his struggle and his fight, I see why they gave it to a Marine to get it done. And so our next guest, please welcome to the show, Terry Beale, United States Marine Corps, Desert Storm combat veteran. Welcome to the show, brother. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your service. And quite an onion to unpeel today, brother.
Oh, well, let's get to peeling, man. Let's do this.
The day is yours. You get to tell your story any way you see fit, unfiltered, uncensored by the mainstream media. And you get to reach out, grab a hold of a veteran by his collar and say, come on, man. Come with us.
All right. Well, tell you what, there's no better place to start than I guess the beginning. I'm the youngest of 6 in an Irish Catholic family, with a father who was in the Marine Corps from 48 to 52, and then from the Marine Corps into the FBI for 27 years. And he retired in 81 as the ASAC in Tampa. My oldest brother, Marine Corps, went in on the buddy system with his best friend in 78, I believe, and went in enlisted, made it to staff sergeant, and then did OCS and became an officer. And he retired now doing ROTC at a school in Tampa. My brother, just older than me, also joined the Marine Corps. He's been involved in several different situations like Kosovo and other stuff like that. So now me, I'm the youngest. I went in and my plan was to go in and go to college and try to let the Marine Corps pay for college and do OCS eventually, but I never got that far because I went in and while I was in school, they activated us. They shut down the school and activated us as like ready load for seventh Meb tanks, and so we started. Getting them ready to rock and roll and shipping them out. And I think it was like August 7th, maybe of 90. And then as soon as I finished school, I went and I went to the Gandhi Reserve Unit and was immediately sent to Courthouse Bay. And we started doing Courthouse Bay is in Camp Lejeune.
Okay, thank you. I was like, what's that?
My apologies. I should have said that.
That's
But
okay.
anyway, we went to Courthouse Bay and started doing like whatever training they could to get us ready for what we were getting ready to go do. And then we shipped out. And you know what happened. You were over there. There was tons of crazy situations, and we were exposed to all kinds of crazy stuff, along with the PB pills that they made us take. And what was it, like 27 vaccines that we had to have before we went over?
It was quite a list. Yeah, yes.
It was honestly. I mean, I remember going down a line, and every step forward, I get hit in either shoulder with another one of those injection guns, and that happened several times down the line.
Yeah.
They loaded us up with all kinds of crazy stuff, and then, like I said, the PB pills. I can never pronounce the full name of it. Those things they made us take for like 45 days, and they made us.
Are you talking the anti-malaria tablets?
No, the hold on one second. I'll get it. I'll get it right here. PB pills from Desert Storm. Pyridostigmine bromide pills.
Pyridostigmine. Yeah, you got to put the right emphasis on the right syllable.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got you.
I can never pronounce it. It's too many too many consonants together.
Yeah, so
if it was written in crayon, I'd be able to do it a little better.
Yeah, I just wanted to make a quick little correction. I did not serve in combat in Desert Storm. I was teaching during that time.
Oh, okay.
But I did go to the Persian Gulf as a young sailor, as a deck ape. Yeah, just wanted to make that clear. Yeah,
I got it. No, it's all right.
You know what, Terry? Let's back up just a minute.
Yeah.
Your dad was Marine Corps, then retired FBI, bigger brothers Marine Corps, family full of veterans and who served or were serving when you were younger. What was it like growing up with like all that frickin' Marine Corps shit all over you? Like when you went in the Marines, you were already a Marine, probably close.
It kind of felt like home.
Yeah, right. Like,
yeah.
What was it like being a kid growing up in that kind of environment?
Well, I would have to say it was similar to, I don't know, like a cross between the Great Santini and Archie Bunker. It was a really interesting upbringing with very very deep seated in the Catholic community in Temple Terrace, and so I mean I was a child raised in the 70s. Things were a lot different then. They called it tough love back then, man. And I was a little hellion. I tried to break a lot of rules. Being the youngest of 6 and my mother fighting cancer for 17 years of the 24 years that I knew her. When I came around, a lot of the concentration went on keeping her alive. And I was like, hey, look at me. And about the only way I could really get the attention was by acting out, you know? So, you know, I ended up believing the best way for me to earn my place in my family was to follow in the footsteps and join the Marine Corps, kind of a rite of passage, you know. Plus, you know, because of all the goofing off and whatnot, I wasn't graduating magna cum laude.
Right.
So,
So would you say you had very little childhood trauma, medium childhood trauma, extensive trauma? I mean, when you went into the Marine Corps, were you already bringing stuff with you?
you know, I like I said, child of the 70s. You know, tough love was what they called it back then.
You either drink from the hose or you got your ass beat with the hose.
Yeah.
One of the two, or both in the same day.
You get it. So
Yeah.
I'm starting to stutter. And so, but yeah, I experienced a lot of, you know, a lot of what your average child of the 70s would when you act a fool, you know. So and being the youngest of six, I mean, what you gotta expect that they'd already seen everything, you know. They'd seen all the tricks, so they would almost know what I was doing before I did it.
Predicting it, taking
Yeah,
back.
I get good time off for good behavior. It was preventative medicine at that point. Catch a beating before you do something.
Let me ask you this. So family's not there helping you do push-ups when you go through boot camp. That was strictly you.
Right. Well,
So,
actually, you know, I didn't tell you this. I don't think I did. During well, my brother told me that they were going to have me fill out a form when I got there in receiving, and it would ask if I knew anyone in the Marine Corps or the military or anything. He said, do not tell them that you know anybody. He said, because they'll concentrate on you at that point. And I was like,
yeah, you don't want the attention.
yeah, I didn't understand. And so I did that. And I think it was towards the end of first phase, right before the rifle range, my senior drill instructor called me into the office and asked me if I happen to know who Spike Beale was. And at that moment, I think I probably dropped a load in my pants. I probably
It was not the moment to lie either.
no. There's no yeah. There at that point at that point he knew there was no getting out.
Right,
So
right.
and as I said, sir, that's this private's oldest brother, sir. Cringing when I said it, and he's like, well, he says on this form here you didn't know anybody. Well, long story short, I had to move my rack onto the quarterdeck, and every morning from there on out, while everyone else is getting dressed by the numbers, I was just rolling out of the rack and doing push-ups. Just pushing every morning.
I bet you weren't very happy with your brother.
Well, you know, I think that was part of his hazing. So
what went through your mind? Let me ask you this, and I'm going to ask this to every Marine Corps vet because it's different for you guys. When they took that Eagle Globe and Anchor and put it in your hand, when you were getting ready for your dinner, what did it feel like?
God, I don't believe there's any string of words I can put together to explain that. It's the culmination of every ounce of blood, sweat, and tears that you put into becoming this incredible thing that seemed unobtainable, and all of a sudden you're holding the symbol of that in your hand. Said no feeling like that in the world.
I hear you. I remember when I graduated from corpsman school, and he handed me my medical insignia, my caduceus. That was
I lost your sound.
Sorry about that, guys. We had a little bit of a technical difficulty. I was just saying that when you become a corpsman, man, it's you got to take that oath, and that's what really gets you, and you keep it the rest of your life is what I was trying to say. You keep it the rest of your life, just like being a Marine. It's yours forever. Being whatever you did in the military, it's you. They just don't give it away, guys. You know what I mean? Yeah, there you go.
I got my meat tag there.
Yeah.
It's my pride and my burden.
They don't just give it away. There's a lot of marching that goes on. So okay, so you're a Marine. Where are you at? What are you doing? What's life gonna be like? What's up?
Well, I went ahead and I went through communication school, and like I said, we ended up helping 7th Meb tanks get loaded up and ship out for Desert Shield, and then as soon as I attached to the Gandy Boulevard 4th AA Battalion, we actually got shipped to Courthouse Bay in Camp Lejeune and joined 2nd A Battalion up there, and we started training with them, and then we shipped over. I think it was in at the end of October, maybe, or beginning of November. We shipped over, and we went to I think it was Al Jabail was the port. That's correct. And that's that's where we first joined with all of our equipment and whatnot, and then we just started prepping everything up, getting things ready. Went up to a place called Camp 15. We were there for a while and got everything ready, loaded, and that's when we moved forward all the way to, I believe it was Cabrit. I believe it was called Cabrit. Not quite sure. And then we split off in different directions, and that's when everything's hazy for me. I started seeing lots of weird shit, and I blocked out a lot of crap. But it became what I call forever night out there, where the oil fire started making the sky pitch black, and it looked like we were traveling through hell. And we were breathing all that crap, and I'm sure I don't have to tell you about that. I'm still dealing with respiratory problems with that. I'm on 5 different inhalation devices and a nebulizer that I use, but I exercise a whole lot. Like almost every day, I'm doing some form of exercise, and using the nebulizer to work stuff up. But I also use stuff that I grow in the garden to help with that. Like I grow thyme, and I grow pineapples, and I'll make a tea from the pineapple skins and the thyme, and it's got different stuff in it. I believe it's bromelain is one of the chemicals, and something else, and it breaks up mucus and helps
No kidding.
issues in the lungs. Yeah. That's I'm sorry, I'm all over the place, but that's part of what I'm hoping to share with my fellow veterans in the future is what I'm doing with gardening and doing garden to table cooking and growing my medicine, because it's really changing my life doing
Well,
all that.
that's what we need to get out there for our fellow veterans to know, man. I got it. We have to be the beacon for that and let them know that there's more than just sitting on that couch and dwelling on your past. Getting up and moving and learning about the holistic things in this world. Every plant was put here for a reason for us.
Absolutely.
So got to figure out why. So how long were you over there in Iraq?
I was over in Saudi, Kuwait, and Iraq for, I believe it was a total of 6 months, and like the longest part of it was what we called Operation Desert Decay, because we were just like having to sit around watching freedom birds flying over while we were just doing dumb stuff like where they had us burning equipment so we wouldn't have to carry it back, burning batteries and stuff like that. And I'm pretty certain that those fumes did a number on me, as well as the Pseudomonas. I also picked up Pseudomonas aeruginosa from the soil over there, and that's what wreaked havoc on my renal system.
Wow. I had something in my head. Oh yeah. It's one thing you and I found in common was I left Iceland in '89 to go teach at Corpsman School. And a lot of my students went straight to field med school and then out to Storm. And we figured out that you had to have crossed paths with one of my corpsmen that I taught.
I'm almost certain of it. Almost certain of it.
Had to have been. There's too many of them went there. I'm sure you had to have crossed paths with at least one of my students. And that would be really cool to find that out if you were like a fly on the wall, you know? Hey, so look, we are almost halfway through. Let's regroup. Let's get into post Marine Corps life and then medical issues, and we'll go from there, because people need to see, man, what you go through on a daily basis as a veteran.
Sure.
Because of being a veteran, we're gonna blow some minds out here in just a moment. Let's take it away, Joe. Let's Brian. Let's help another vet out.
Division doesn't happen by accident. It's engineered, layered into our systems, etched into our history, and sold to us as truth. Divisive Measures is the podcast that pulls back the curtain. Host Brian takes you down the rabbit hole, into the policies, the propaganda, the pain, to ask one question: who profits from keeping us apart? From PTSD to systemic oppression, from inherited trauma to digital echo chambers. This show doesn't flinch. It listens. It questions. It connects. Divisive Measures, premiering July 1st on Spotify, because the only way out of the divide is through it.
And we're back with Terry Beale, United States Marine Corps combat vet, Desert Storm. And so you're over there 6 months or so. You had the burn pits and sucking in all that nasty shit. You collecting bacteria or viruses from the fucking sand, and a host of medical issues. And so you got out of the Marine Corps, and talk about the transition for us, Terry.
Well, there really was no reacclimation. Kind of like a smack on the ass and a good game, and sent on my way. And I was just 18 when I went over there, so I feel like that kid never came back, and I didn't really know how to process what I'd experienced or what I'd been involved in. And so I immediately turned to what I thought would work, or what was seemed to be familiar, which was alcohol. And I started drinking quite heavily. I attempted to go to college in Columbus, Mississippi. My mother had had a relapse of cancer, so I had moved up there to help out. And my brother John passed away from AIDS in '92, and he was an incredible musician. Uh, he could make any instrument sing. But anyway, I it went from one tragedy to the next, and the alcohol seemed to help me stay numb. And I tried being a radio DJ for a while, and that was kind of cool. But the drinking got in the way, and so I became a bartender and server at a restaurant, and that way, you could be surrounded by alcohol and actually
The mouse in charge of the cheese.
get away with it. Yeah, in fact, in certain bar situations, people are buying bartenders shots or drinks all the time, so you almost have to accept those, so you can keep a good a good rapport with your clientele. And so it's a job hazard. But I went through life like that, hiding what was going on physically and mentally by drinking. And I started doing drugs too, and I was doing that and avoiding going to hospitals, because in the Marine Corps, sick calls for pussies is what they always would tell us. So you don't go to the hospital. You just kind of handle stuff yourself. And the whole time I'm developing chronic kidney stones, and my renal system is shutting down, causing hydronephrosis of both kidneys. And it's slowly being poisoned with this Pseudomonas aeruginosa, which was leaking into my body just very slowly, because my body tried to protect me by encapsulating it with scar tissue. But that was causing the ureters to be very constricted and have very little pathway. So it was backing everything up into the kidneys and causing issues.
Let me just make one quick point.
Yeah.
In the military, that was the standard protocol about sick call. With the Marines, it was even worse. By the time I talked to corpsmen who worked with you guys a lot, by the time you guys got to them, you're half dead. A year after in tract infection, you got to go to the hospital for 2 weeks. It's so bad. You know what I mean?
If you really have a problem, or if you really, by the time you go to sick call or go to the VA or what, I'm still like that, because it's ingrained in your head. By the time you get there, you're on death's doorstep, because you've already exhausted every possible way that you think you can handle it at home, every home remedy and everything else. I'm all right. I'll just sweat it out a little bit. And
they walk into sick bay. They go, "Is this right?" It looks like they got a bowling ball pin on their thumb. It's fucking. Is this right, Doc?
Yeah.
No, that's not right.
It's just that was SOP, man. You keep your head down, patch it up, eat a handful of Motrin, and get the hell back out there.
Yeah,
and because that's basically what they do for you at sick call anyway. they'd hand you some Motrin and put a wrap on you and send you back out.
Or penicillin.
Or with a big silver bullet. Good Lord.
Yeah. So I didn't mean to interrupt you. You were talking
No, that's
about.
all right. Because I'm like I said, I'm kind of all over the place anyway.
So you spent. I don't want to flash over the years of drinking and drugging and lying to yourself that we talked about, and
Right.
I've been there, and that didn't do anything to help you long term medically either.
No.
So tell us what's going on, what you've been dealing with as of most lately with your medical issues.
Well, it all kind of got kicked into hyperdrive. I think it was at around 2000. This kidney stones. That's when I started finding out I was actually having kidney stones. But they were, I was having pains and stuff before that and just not getting checked out. And I didn't know that's what was going on. But when I started passing them and seeing them was around 2000. By 2005, I was having electric shockwave lithotripsies, or ESWLs. And I had 28 of those.
Is that the ultrasonic waves that break the stones up?
Right. Yeah. They rest this bladder of fluid up against your body where it is, and they shoot shock waves through electric shock waves through it. And it's supposed to shatter the stones or break them up a little bit. Now, I had 28 of those. And then I also had to have bilateral nephrostomy tubes put into my back, where they went in through the tube and lasered stones that were too big for any other method.
Right.
And I actually had a stone that was 2 centimeters in diameter, which is the size of a quarter. And it took 4 separate laserings to
break it up,
bust that bad boy up. And I still ended up having to pass quite a bit from
kind of like an asteroids game where you just got to keep hitting that bolt until it gets smaller. Huh?
Yeah, but it was a big problem that was happening because of issues that had occurred from exposures that caused hyperparathyroidism, and it was causing an overproduction of calcium in the body. So
wow.
So because of that, my kidneys couldn't handle it. It was causing all of these really crazy hard stones. So anyway, during that period of time, the VA was missing the fact that I had also developed what's called interstitial cystitis, which is the erosion of the inner lining of the bladder, which is very uncommon in men. And I was having such extreme pain, and they actually in was it Jackson, Mississippi in 2014, excuse me. Yeah, I was sober at this point, because I got sober in 2011. They accused me of being a junkie trying to get pain meds, because they were saying that they weren't finding anything wrong with me. When they finally did a uroscopy, and the doctor said, "Well, I see some inflammation, and I'll take a biopsy, but I'm not so sure what's going on." And they missed that whole thing altogether, the interstitial cystitis. And by the time I got to Bay Pines, the situation was so far progressed that the doctor said at this point we can't stop it, or we can't fix it. Um, we can only try to deaden the pain for you and temporarily, so have to become a treatment. And I started getting 300 units of Botox injected into my bladder every 3 months to alleviate some of the pain that was going on. But it still was excruciating pain. I'd stand in the hot shower because the bladder would go into spasm from the pain, and then I couldn't even release the fluid that was going in there causing the pain. So it was like torture. It was crazy. And I sometimes stand in hot water so much it would blister my legs. But it was 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. Which pain is worse?
I'd rather be burned than fucking.
Yeah, that's where I was. So when they finally I don't know, it was maybe a couple of years down the road. I have been having this every 3 months. I think it was 2019. They said we're going to have to take the bladder out. It's shriveled to the size of a walnut, and so you don't even have any capacity there. So what we're going to have to do is create what's called a Florida pouch, which is where, like I said, they'll take 9 inches of my large intestine and create an actual neo bladder, which I have an opening here on the side for when I actually get a kidney transplant. It will drain into that bladder, and I have to use a catheter to empty it out. Until such time, I have to put the catheter in there and inflate it with saline to keep the tissue exercising, to keep it viable. So that's kind of fun too. But anyway, it is what it is. These are, if this is what I have to do to keep doing what I need to do, then so be it. It's a blessing that I've even made it this far.
So what is the totality? What is the totality of what you're missing, what they've taken, what you still have left, what your plan of action is, and then let's get into what you're. So wait till our listeners hear all that, and then when they hear what you're still striving to do to help our fellow veterans, on top of that, lay it out there for us.
All right, sure thing. All right, well, in 2019 they went in to take my bladder. And at that point, they were going to also remove the scar tissue from my ureters to stop the hydronephrosis of the kidneys. But when they cut into that scar tissue, it was encapsulated pockets of Pseudomonas aeruginosa that exploded over everything and rendered the ureters useless. They wanted to test the viability of the right kidney, injected dye into it, pow, pow, veins started exploding. Right there on the table, I started to bleed out. After 2 units, the doctor said, I can't save him like this. We've got to take the kidney. So I woke up from the surgery missing the right kidney, both ureters and the bladder, and had a couple of bags hanging out of me again. And I was just completely stunned and not knowing what the heck to do. They ran it through to me what my options were, and it just didn't seem like there was any other option. I just had to keep on pushing forward. But I believed at that point when I started to bleed out. I believe that's when my higher power spoke to me and told me that my life was not over yet, that I still had work to do, and that was that was to save veterans' lives. And so it became my my mission to figure out how I was going to save veterans' lives. And I still had to get through everything that was going on with me first. But I started developing this idea and this plan in my head the entire time, because I experienced a lot through the VA, and was kind of disenchanted with the care, physical and mental health wise, that we'd been given. I didn't know exactly what I was going to do at that point, but I knew this was what I had to do.
And you received this message, this calling, during probably the toughest moment of your life.
Yeah, I would say so. I would say so.
That's incredible, man. That's incredible.
Yeah. But I don't have to tell you, I've had numerous situations where I had every opportunity to catch the fuckets, and I've had a few times when I was like, well, what am I doing? Why am I doing this? And why am I doing this to myself? Why am I putting myself through this? And I keep remembering why, and knowing that this is coming from a higher source.
Yeah. So you're missing a couple of kidneys, you're missing a couple of ureters, you're missing your bladder, your appendix, a bunch of
thyroids, and my thyroid got that Colombian necktie right there.
So you're missing 11 organs or 11 things they took out of your body.
Right.
Yeah, and you get a message from God that or from your higher power, that it ain't over yet. The fat lady has a son.
Right. Right.
So you get these. You've been working on some missions and trying to fine tune some things. And let's, Brian. I think we have a little video. Terry literally, so he can be home instead of going to get his dialysis. Terry literally does his own dialysis at home, sticks himself, draws his own blood, so that he can be home and be in his own home and start chasing after this mission of helping veterans. Brian, we got that video real quick. Check this out, guys. I mean, this guy's like corpsman stuff. Oh, maybe he can't get it. Well, we can always come back to it. Literally, Terry draws his own blood from his own port, from his own dialysis that he's doing. It's incredible.
It's called a fistula.
Look at that. Look at that.
Yeah, they did it. What's called an AV fistula. They take the artery and the largest vein in the arm and put them together to create a more viable pathway. And I'm sure if you could see right here or touch right here, you can feel the thrill and hear the brule of that. And it's amazing. It's when I woke up and I felt this and felt my blood, my life force rushing through my body with such zest and vigor. I was like, what the hell? I'm alive, man. Is
that a baby dinosaur in my arm?
I mean, it hums like a little engine, but there's nothing in there but me. That's me. So it's so powerful to feel that and to ignore that feeling or that being able to touch your own life force like that. It's something special right there, man. And I couldn't ignore it. So I started picking up speed with my idea, and I came up with this plan to because another factor that was very powerful for me is that when I started doing dialysis, it was in center. And, at the time I was like 50 years old, and I'm like, this is horrible. You're surrounded by people that are struggling, and a lot of them look like they're on death's doorstep. And mental health wise, I felt like it was bringing me down. Like I was losing the battle, being surrounded by a bunch of sick people, and like one day you're talking to somebody who's your little treatment friend, and the next time you come in for treatment, they're gone. And it was just too much. to bear with on a regular basis for me to stay in a good headspace. And I found out I could do home hemodialysis through All Kidney Patients Support Group, and God bless them. If it weren't for them, I wouldn't have stayed alive through all this. They kept good wholesome food in my refrigerator and kept my freezer full of meat and stuff. So they're my angels. All Kidney Patient Support Group.
All Kidney Patient Support Group.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And in fact, they have a masquerade ball coming up in October as a fundraiser. I think it's October 2nd or 4th, one or the other. But anyway, they're fantastic people, and spiritually, they kept me. They kept my spirit light and kept my belly full, which is something that I feel I want to now pay forward on many different fronts. I'm sorry, I have issues with focus sometimes, and I get a little sidetracked. But anyway, I decided to create a safe haven for veterans to get hands-on therapies all in one location, with various modalities as well, and a concentration on healthy eating, and plant medicine and mycology. Those things have all played a beneficial role in me having a better way of life and becoming healthier and not being my disability. My disabilities do not define who I am. In fact,
it's a side note.
Well, in fact, I wouldn't be making this up. I mean, I hear this almost every time I meet somebody. When I tell them what I'm going through, there's like, no, you're not. You're lying to me. There's no way. Look at you. You don't look sick at all. And it's because of what I'm doing. I'm treating my body the way you would your special antique car, your heavy duty, heavy metal American muscle, Yeah. Your body is like that, man. And if you put good fuel in it, you take care of it, keep everything lubed and ready to rock and roll, you'll be able to use it the way it was meant to be used. And that's what I've been doing. Even here in my little ghetto paradise, I took my back patio and created a food forest out of it. And I grow a lot of my own medicine. I grow lots of fresh herbs and fruits and vegetables out there. In fact, I even have here's some of the stuff I grew. I've got some, I just harvested this today, some papaya, and we've got some guava right here. And I've got a lot of fresh herbs out there. I grow oregano. I make oregano oil, which is a natural antibiotic. I've got 4 different types of turmeric that I grow, which, of course, it's got anti-inflammatory properties.
Big time.
Many other things with the variations of the different turmeric. I grow rosemary. I make rosemary tincture, which helps with cognitive issues. I'm literally growing my medicine so I can improve my life. I use
You're doing the work, because Joe and I always talk about it. Lots of veterans say they need help, and unfortunately, we find veterans who just don't want to do the work.
Well, nothing's going to be given to you. Nothing at all. You gotta work for anything that's worth having.
My daughter said, you want to change some things in your life, you got to change some things in your life.
Right. Yeah. If nothing changes, nothing changes.
It's simple. It's like me. If I don't reach veterans, I can't reach veterans.
Right. Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
how many routine meds are you on, and how many or and what holistic things have you been able to replace out, or give me the
Well,
pharmaceutical aspect of this whole thing.
well, there's certain things that I absolutely have. I have to take binders because binders I take every time I eat because with no kidneys, my body can't process certain minerals and or toxins. It's because I have to do dialysis to do that. Now, potassium, phosphorus, and calcium, if those have to be monitored because if in excess, they can all be very dangerous for you.
Yeah,
And
so you don't get any mulligans on this stuff because you don't have any filtration system to push out the extras or
right.
to remind you you're deficient.
Right. Well,
Yeah.
in fact, I got hospitalized in the beginning because I wasn't taking the binders properly, and it's absolutely crazy what happens to you because of all three of those things spiked. I was hallucinating. I became combative.
Yep.
In fact, the EMS guys thought I was on something really good because I was nonverbal. I was only babbling, and I was having to point to stuff to try to communicate to them. And they had to do. I got to the hospital, and they had to do several dialysis, like almost back to back, to get all the excess out of me. And it took a few treatments before I leveled out.
Just to
So
get straight.
very, very important for me to keep an eye on that and take binders every time I eat. Otherwise, it's a hell of a ride, and it's a ride that I might not come back from.
So even having to do all these things and monitor yourself and do your own dialysis, how do I say this? You said it doesn't define you, but it's a big part of your fucking day. So to be able to separate that from your daily routine of taking care of self hygiene and taking care of yourself and having people in your life and relationships and trying to put together something to help your fellow veterans at the same time. It's just fucking amazing to me. That's why God he gave me none of that stuff because he knows I couldn't fucking handle it. He gives it to the fucking boss hogs. You know what I mean? I swear to
Yeah.
God, man.
Well,
It's like,
like I said, this mission didn't come from me. I feel like there is no choice. This is what I have to do.
so what do you use to help you in the natural healing medical stuff?
Well,
The cannabis and the psilocybin and whatever else you're doing.
right. Well, they had me on 6 different psych meds all at once, and it had me drooling on myself. I was so numb that I couldn't decipher that my wife was walking out on me while I was sick and fighting all this stuff. So I became tired of feeling like that, and I cut back on a lot of the psych meds and started treating with medical cannabis against medical advice.
Well,
And
yeah.
and I started getting my life back.
Imagine that.
Yeah, it's pretty insane. But they don't want you to stop taking those pills because big pharma's making such a heavy cut off of us cash cows.
Allegedly.
Well, from what I can decipher, but anyway, with dialysis as well. They're pulling 140,000 a month off of me in charges for dialysis treatments and various other things alone. I mean, I've got a stack of bills I could show you, not bills, but breakdowns of what the insurance is shucking out for to keep me alive each month, or at least the price tags they're putting on these things, and it's pretty disgusting. And in fact, I'm doing so much exercise and eating so much healthy stuff and doing everything so properly that I'm able to do 3 dialysis treatments instead of 4 a week and meet my clearance and have a perfect lab and have my doctor saying I'm a shining example of what they'd like a patient to be. And because of that, they're not getting as much of a cut off of me because they're 4 treatments a month.
Yeah.
They're not meeting their quota with me, so I've got some people pissed off. But it's amazing to me, because they've lost focus on what it's about. I'm the patient. They're supposed to want me to be better, not to keep me as a customer.
They don't know. They don't know any better. They don't know any better. They don't know. They're in that system. They are in the grind. They're in the game, and they're just a pawn in the game too. Be honest with you.
Well, it makes you start questioning everything that your medical teams are doing, because if they're giving you this medicine to take care of this and another medicine to counteract side effects from this medicine, and then another medication to take care of the acid reflux that you get from taking these 2 medicines together, that's 3 different medicines that you're having to take every day. You've become one of their best customers.
Let's be clear though. You would not be alive without the medical industry.
No, not there's no. I would have.
They serve a purpose, but what they don't realize. Oh, sorry, brother.
No, that's all right. No, you're right. The miracles of medicine have made it possible for a man sitting in front of you right now with no kidneys and no ureters and no bladder and still pumping out 10 to 15 mile hikes.
I don't do that with 2 kidneys, a bladder, and every.
Yeah, so you see what I'm saying? The miracles of medicine have made me a pretty magical human being, a miracle right now. But in the same turn, there's a dark side to the medical industry that keeps us as customers. They don't make cures, they make band-aids, and we generate quite a bit of revenue for big pharma, for insurance companies, for the hospitals. There's a lot of stuff that goes on there that I question, but that I'm sure we could have a whole nother show on that.
Absolutely. So let's talk about this. I write notes when we do our pre-call.
Yes, sir.
So I'm just going to throw some shit at you.
Yeah, you throw it and I'll answer.
And you explain it for us.
Yes, sir.
There's a Veterans Healing Church. I got Irreverent Warriors, something about Florida for warriors that need living donors. Or you need, by the way, everybody out there, this man needs a kidney or a bladder or something, whatever you need.
No. I'm on the list to get a kidney. I've been on for 5 years and 4 months now.
When did they kick you off the list?
Well, they say around 5 years is around the time that you should get a kidney. So I could get a call any day right now. any day. And if I get that call, I've got to rush to Tampa General Hospital or fly to wherever they need me to go to get a kidney.
Hang on, let's wait. Let's wait a few minutes. See if the phone rings.
Yeah. So I'm waiting. But I'm listed at Tampa General Hospital and at Georgetown VA as well.
Georgetown's where?
Georgetown, near Washington D.C.
Okay, and down in Tampa, Florida. Anybody from around those areas, if you feel like giving a kidney, go check it out.
Well, actually, I also have on my website, I have the link for dovetransplant.org, which that's donor outreach for veterans.
Dove.
And they actually they tried to find donors for veterans specifically. And
wow,
I've got my own link for their website with my picture and a little breakdown of what I've gone through and what I need. And they're also connected to a group called End the Wait, which is an organization that also helps people get matched up with organs. Actually, I believe Dean Kane is involved with them.
No kidding, huh?
Yeah. Anyway, I started becoming active after I got all the transplants with a few groups, the Irreverent Warriors and Florida for Warriors. And these groups, they're family to me. And the mission is we bring veterans together using humor and camaraderie to improve mental health and prevent veteran suicide.
Nice.
And what we do is we put on our combat boots and our short silky shorts, or ranger panties, as some folks call them, and our flak jackets with crazy patches on them, and grab our flags, our military flags, and put on our packs with patches as well. And we usually carry some weight in those packs so we can carry the weight for our brothers and sisters that can't carry their own weight any longer.
Oh yeah.
So
I wrote this too. Create a safe place in one location, holistic plant medicine rooted in faith, encompassing a complete holistic approach, including spiritual. That is your main goal, is to get a spot where you can bring veterans in and hook them up with everything they could ever need to help them live a better life and stick with us.
Yes, sir. I'm currently I decided that I couldn't wait for a kidney to happen, and I needed to take action now. And I just recently launched my website. Hey, shush.
It's all right.
Sorry about that.
It's okay. I got a shepherd, dude.
Sorry. So
Amazon's here.
I've got the whole troops out here, boys. So anyway, I decided I couldn't wait for a kidney, and I had to do something. So I went ahead and launched my website, valhallasouth.org. And the idea is that I'm using my VA loan, my home loan, to find 5 to 10 acres that I can create a safe haven for veterans to get hands-on therapies, various modalities with a root in faith, all in one location. I want things like woodworking and auto mechanics, and have a food forest to grow food, gardening in, do culinary training, teach how to do homesteading, how to make your own plant medicines. Want to have art and music therapy, and Tai Chi and motion and fitness, all of that. all in one place, so we can take a like I said, like you repeated, a full, well-rounded approach to health and well-being. And by doing this, I'm hoping I can help veterans get through a lot of the issues that we have while using the VA, because they're just not doing it. You know, they keep handing us these SSRI pills that have the black box warnings on it that say may cause suicidal ideations. Well, why do you think that you have so many veterans committing suicide?
Yeah, I've seen it on the pill labels for antidepressive may cause suicide. Well, what are you giving me that for? That fucking like uncommon sense. You know?
It ain't rocket science. A crayon eater can figure this one
I
out.
mean, come on.
So anyway, that's the plan. I've been looking at properties right now. It's a little difficult because, I'm sure you know, the VA is not making millionaires out of us. So you know, right now it's difficult to find a piece of property close enough to the Tampa Bay area for me. But I'm speaking to a couple of people who are possible investors, and I believe God's got me on this. So, you know, if it's meant to be, it's meant to be. But I'm certain that this is what's going to happen.
Here's what I would definitely love to do. I would. There's so much more to talk to you about. What I was hoping is that once we're done with this podcast, that you have set yourself up physically to be able to accomplish whatever you want. And I'm proud of you for that. I guarantee you, every Marine out there is proud of you for still fucking standing the watch, bro.
Well, it needs to be done, and you know, I believe that I'm living in the in the Bible verse of Isaiah 6:8, and then the voice of the Lord said, "Who shall I send? Who will go for us?" And I answered back, "Me, Lord, send me." So this is what I'm doing. This is why I'm here. So I'm going to make this happen, and nothing's going to stop that.
All right. Well, remember this, folks, valhallasouth.org. What I'd love to do, Terry, is have you back on in season 5. I'll spend the next few months holding your feet to the fire to chase your fucking dreams and let your light shine. And I expect you to hold me accountable on my drinking and my sobriety, or actually my sobriety. And I'll meet you in season 5, brother, and we'll talk about everything you've accomplished since now. It'll be around Christmas time, so that gives you some time to get your ass in gear.
Absolutely. Well, we're working on it, and I'm already connected with Veteran Healing Church out of Massachusetts, who is doing their relaunch in November with their psilocybin products, their chocolates and microdose and tinctures, and that way I'll be able to get various medicines available for veterans right away. They won't even have to worry about the setup and all of that. So, you know, we're gonna change this world one step at a time, but it's gonna happen. It's going to happen.
Absolutely. Feel free to post any of your good news and stuff in the group, in Sick How I Doctor group. Keep us posted.
Yes,
and feel free to drop links to things that are good for vets. That's what the group's for, is to help each other out, which stems from the interviews that we do and talk to people. Terry, we could talk about a million more things, brother, but thank you for being on today.
Absolutely. Anytime, man. Anytime.
I mean, you could have done anything else with your time, like, you know, dialysis or something, you know, to keep you going. But
I'll be doing that later.
You're an example of all that is honorable and good, and I love you like a brother.
Thank you. Hey, well, you know what? This world needs a little more brotherhood and love. So thank you for giving me the opportunity to share my mission with you, and hopefully other people will be interested in my idea and want to pitch in and help.
Yeah.
Because it's going to take a lot more than just me to make it happen, but I believe in it. So.
Yeah, there's a lot of people out there doing a lot of good things, and we're going to bring that to light on Sicko and Doc, brother. For all of our listeners, thank you very much for stopping back by with us. And we hope that something that Terry said today will grab you by the shirt, shake you, and say, come along with us. Until next time, Roger out.
Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe.